So I wanted to do something different today. I wanted to try and have a conversation about bounties in the game, how they currently are implemented, and why I think people are so upset about them. Let's start by taking a look back at the Season of the Worthy. We got a new public event and a seasonal goal of powering up these Warmind bunkers that had been hidden throughout the solar system. And how did we do this? With bounties, of course. These bounties were mandatory if you wanted to level up the different bunkers, making it so the entire gameplay loop of the season revolved around bounty grinding. For some people, this was perfectly fine, and I completely understand that. But for others more heavily invested into the game, this was a boring, unrewarding grind. Personally, I was in the latter. I finished the introductory mission, got to the EDC bunker, and after getting to see the inventory of that bunker, I asked myself if that was it. Turned out, that was all there was to it. I know Bungie can't make mind-blowing content on a 3-month basis, and for that to even be realistic, they would have to squeeze even more money out of the consumer, they would have to get a bigger staff, and most importantly, they'd have to be more transparent towards their consumer. But making bounties that are exactly the same kill this and go there that we've had for years, it's just bad. It just feels like you're making something to push out content to make people stop complaining about the downtimes between expansions, instead of making you feel like you're part of a single evolving world Bungie's been hyping up. And even if this may sound like I'm complaining, this is the thing. I don't see bounties as a bad thing in the game. In Destiny 1, they incentivize bounties by giving you faction reputation and a chance to get an exotic bounty that in the end rewarded you with some unique cosmetic or weapon in the game. In Destiny 2, all they offer you is experience points or some currency for the current season. Maybe even some random gear in case it's bounties for, say, Iron Banner. It feels like bounties have become a way for Bungie to artificially inflate the grind of the game, bringing them to the forefront of most seasons rather than being a complementing factor to them. This is especially apparent with how fast you can level a season pass with bounties compared to any other activity in the game. Season of Arrivals, the current season by the making of this video, did change it up a bit. They added pyramids to the different planets that are going away. They made it feel like something was happening in the world. The darkness was arriving. Things were about to change. They even gave us a cool rotating weekly story mission and a dungeon. These are all good things if you ask me. But again, outside of these 3 things, bounties from the Prismatic Recaster was the only way to go if you wanted to level it up, and if you wanted to unlock its focusing capabilities for some good reprised weapons and armor. This in turn also has the negative consequence of making the new dungeon lose its value due to the fact that there wasn't any real exciting loot to chase from it. Sure, the different encounters gave you rewards from the planets that are getting vaulted, but it wasn't really good enough because you could simply get the meta stuff from the Recaster. And I understand that there's the Dido stuff in the dungeon, but it's randomly rolled and more often than not does not give you any real reason to replace what you currently have. I just don't see why they weren't ornaments like every other universal ornament has been before this one. I mean, they could have been ornaments and you could have gotten them from, say, a weekly rotating challenge in the dungeon. And if you had done that, I think more people would be interested in actually going there multiple times. Bungie's not perfect, but they're also not bad. They are a great team of talented individuals who want to make the game as good as it can be. I just feel like this current season model leans way too much into their comfort zone. Innovation is hard, I understand that, especially when you push content out with such frequency. But I'd rather have 2 or 3 great seasons instead of 4 lackluster ones. Finally, I want to talk a little bit about bounty hoarding. That is when Guardians start farming weekly bounties for the next big thing so they can get a quick boost in artifact power level and on the season pass. I've never felt that this has been an issue for Destiny, at all. It's up to each individual to make the decision if this is something they want to do. No one forces you to do it, and it doesn't break the game. Some people argue that you need to do this to stay ahead and do all the new content. But here's the thing. The content is there for a long time. and no one explicitly forces you to do either the hoarding or the content on day 1. The only time you ever really could benefit from this boost anyway is if you're racing to the Grandmaster Nightfalls or the new expansion raids, which, by looking at statistics, not many people even finish in the launch week anyway. For Season of Arrivals, I decided not to hoard bounties, mostly because I didn't play Season of the Worried that much, outside of the initial bounties and the Lie quest. And you know what? My team still managed to finish the Grandmaster on time. We were even one of the fastest teams to finish the Corrupted on day 1. My point with this argument is that only because you personally feel forced to do bounties before new content does not actually mean that that is the case. Most of the new content is even elightable for you without the need of higher power, such as the contact events and the interference mission of Arrivals. But the real reason I'm mentioning this is because this again leans in on bounties taking the driving seat of content. Instead of adding fun new ways to enjoy existing endgame content that people can play, we as players instead opt in to prepare for the next big thing, simply because there's nothing else to do that is new or rewarding. I've probably said some controversial things now, or missed something obvious, and if that's the case, then I apologize. These are my opinions on the state of bounties and are in no way representative of the entire community. But let me finish this video by asking you what you think about bounties in the game. Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, I want to thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy this conversation piece, then don't be afraid to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already to stay up to date on the latest uploads. And with that, I want to wish you the very best of your day. This is TC Spectre, signing off.